Welcome to D6 Tabletop, and in today's video, we're building Rivendell. So as much as I love hobbying in general, minis, building, painting, all that kind of stuff, I also really enjoy terrain. Recently, I acquired the print files following a Kickstarter for the Rivendell terrain set.
So this Kickstarter was called Elven Realms. As you can see from the photos, there's quite a lot in this. There are buildings such as mansions, there are a temple, library, houses, scatter terrain, gazebos, walls, roads, fences, and all the trees as well are also included in the terrain pack, which I thought was really cool. You got a few big pieces inside it, so this is called the mansion. I've printed one of these and painted it already. I'll show you my one shortly. The statues and the trees are in a separate file pack, and they are designed for either FDM printing, that's PLA printing, or using resin, depending on which one you want to use. Personally, for terrain, I like to use the FDM or the PLA printers, as I feel it lasts longer and a bit more cost effective. However, some details I did resin print, such as the tower on this mansion. Moving on, this is the fort. This is half of a fort because there's another file for each building in this file pack has a mountain underneath it to give it a bit more presence on the board, which is what I've done for this one and what I'm working on currently. This here is what they class as a shrine or a temple. Temple of the Moon, I think they've called it. And there's different versions. This version is half ruin, half new. You can make it full new because each column on this is a separate print piece, so you can make it look as much as you want. It's quite customizable, this kit, so you can change it as much as you want to. Each base comes with the option of having a tree on, like this, where the tree is in the middle and kind of disrupting the building, or to have it without one. Same goes for the previous buildings, for the fort, the mansion, and stuff like that. You can either have a raised base with a tree on, or without a tree on, depending on what you want. Just showcasing some of the scatter terrain here. The fence panels are at the front and a gazebo at the back next to this mansion. It looks really good. So let's take a little look at what I've done so far.
Starting off then, so the first bit I've completed so far is a mansion. Well, they call it a mansion in the files. It is pretty much a big house, can represent most things. I've done this so far without, it's got a large mountain base that can go on it. I haven't printed that yet. I've been too busy printing other bits and pieces. The main centerpiece for what I'm planning on this board is what's called the fort. The base for it is this piece alone. When it's finished, it's going to have a tower on. It's a very large piece of structure, and when it's finished, it should look something like this. I'm going to get it fully painted up, obviously, and I will get flock on it to try and hide some of the print lines, because this base is so big it doesn't fit on my printer in one piece. So it's in 4 or 5 sections, so I intend to hide those print lines using basing material. And I have part printed it in PLA and resin. Some of the finer detail parts are in a resin. Most of it is in PLA due to the size of it. The cost of it in resin alone would be astronomical. However, for the mansion, for instance, the bottom layer and the base is PLA, whilst the roof tiles and the tower are printed in resin. There's loads of different things in this file, in this Kickstarter. We've got houses. I've got a small one here, which I finished yesterday. It's only a little house, but the base it goes on has got more detail with a tree on it. This one's black, so it's quite hard to see on the camera. This one I've already base coated and is grey, and when it goes on it will be a little tree on here as well. I've got some trees to print and stuff like that on top to make a little house section like that. There's going to be a couple of houses. I've also got a temple. The temple is half done. It's got a nice little detail work on the top. Very Rivendell-esque, or elf-esque if you want to be non-copyright. So I'm going to have a fort, the mansion, probably 2 houses, a fountain, and maybe a few other bits and pieces scattered around. They do some gazebos as well, so I'm going to throw a couple of those in, sew in a load of trees, maybe some hills, and hopefully you'll have some form of Rivendell elf-esque village that we can play a game over. So looking forward to getting that done. It should be a fine addition to my collection of terrain, of which it is getting a bit substantial. Hopefully that will lead on to some battle reports and some home stuff as well. So let's have a little look at what I've done paint-wise. It isn't, like I said, terrain-wise, I don't spend a lot of time on detail. I probably should, but I get bored. So simple enough stuff. Houses, dry brush, simple as. 4 layers, black base coat, followed by dark grey, light grey, and then white on the dry brushing for all of the structures and the roofs, the beams. The roof tiles themselves, I actually do the dry brush all over, and it is simply contrast paint. In this case, I think it's Gorgunt's Fur, quite a chestnutty colour for the tiles, and then I've used some Vallejo blue for the little details on the top. I looked at a few photos of Rivendell and seen that they had various different details going on their roofs in some of the concept artwork, so I've kind of gone along those same kind of lines. But I didn't fancy using the greens that I saw. I went with more of a blue. Thought about adding a bit of gold in there somewhere just to make it look a bit more regal, I guess would be the word for it. So there we have it, a quick look at the Kickstarter for the Rivendell terrain, elf-inspired terrain, what I've done so far, plans for it, and a basic painting showcase of what I've done so far. Like I said, it's nothing in depth, it's nothing detailed really. I don't spend a great deal of time on it. It's for the board. I think it looks good as it is, and we'll hope to use it in some upcoming battle videos soon, and also for just some home games and some tabletop stuff. I think it'll look good. I think it'll also suit my Age of Sigmar stuff, because I use Luminef, coming in another video soon. So I think it'll look quite good as like a little homeland for defending with them, and we will see where it goes from there. So thank you for tuning in. If you like this kind of video, please like, comment, subscribe. I can do other terrain showcases of what I've got so far. Like I said, I've got the entirety of Edoras, the walls, breached walls as well, because I got them on the Kickstarter, as well as Mines of Moria, Amon Hen, just lots of different hobby projects. It's all fun, it's all part of it. So until we see you on the next one, thank you for watching, take care, and we'll see you again soon.